I see the world, through a workers class lens, right? And the idea of utopia sounds really, really wonderful to me. But I see more, I think, this idea of a space where there's these kinds of conversations happening daily as people make decisions as whether or not what's the grocery store going to look like, what kind of school are we going to have, where there is real broad democracy and conversation about how we develop communities and neighborhoods where our kids have spaces and parks and they can breathe and the cars and the environment is healing. But this idea where there's also, I think you raised the question of capitalism, if you don't mind, I'll end on this, is that, this idea of what, since the Reagan era, this idea of what liberalism has meant and the kind of shrinking of wealth into fewer and fewer persons and countries' hands all over the planet is a real struggle. And at the end of the day, I believe this thing that I think Dr. King said in one of his speeches. I can't remember Martin Luther King, but he talked about this idea that I am naive enough to believe that every human being on the planet should be able to have potable water, 2 real meals, and to be able to go to school and have light. If you look at the map of the world, right, at night, and look at the way that electricity and light is, and it's in almost all the European, the American, the West Europe poles, you see all these lights and electricity, right? And all over Africa, India, Asia, you see darkness, right? So lots of kids come home to living circumstances where they don't even have light, they can't read at night. And so I dream about a world where the Palestinian child is not dodging bullets, or the kid in Asia, anywhere in Asia, Africa, Latin America, is not kind of suffering just because of circumstance of birth, right? That I want them to have the same chances that my son, our children, niece and nephew have, right? And this last point is that I think, I think they're all my children, right? Like I love my son, but I also love all the other children on the planet that I don't know, and I want them all to have the same kind of opportunities and things I do.